Hello farmers and welcome back to Goldcrest Valley. It is time to plant because we are at the beginning of year number 3 over here at this field at the main farm. And I was just checking on what were the last two crops that were in this field, which were wheat and oats. So in our crop rotation that we got going on, I was scrolling on through and I'm going to go with barley. It was either barley or canola. And I'm just going to go with barley just because I could use it to feed the chickens. Plus getting some straw. Hopefully by the end of the year, we might have a baler. If one ever comes up for sale, we'll have to wait and see. And I was thinking canola, but maybe I'll do canola in another field. Another really good crop would have been in this field, but not feasible for us to do would be sugar beet. Sugar beet was going to, the rate was going to be 115, so a very good rate. So we're going to start the day by planting some barley in this field in the John Deere. But before we do, I want to bring the John Deere over to our workbench over there. And I just want to see what the engine upgrades are again. It's been a while for me, so I just want to double check. I do remember, I think at least, the biggest engine upgrade, I think it was going to be like 77,000. I'm not going to upgrade the engine today, at least I don't think so. I just want to get a reference of what's going on here, just in case a tractor does come up for sale, because this is a nice tractor. It's working out rather well for us. So yeah, we're sitting with a 248 horsepower engine. If I back up this way, a 400 horsepower for 121,000, 345 for 77. So if I just want to go up to a 310, that's even $50,000. So I'd probably just go. Ooh, I don't know. Do I have another upgrade? 300 horse for 41. Yeah, that's where 310 for 50,000. All right. I mean, I got some numbers in my head, at least for now. Just because we're at the point of, we got some cash. We're up to like $180,000, and I would like to buy more land. But by buying more land, we're starting to outgrow the equipment just a little bit, not a whole lot. So it would either be, upgrade the equipment before we expand, or expand and then get more equipment. I would probably prefer maybe getting more land and then get new equipment. When I say new equipment, of course, on this series, it's getting whatever comes up for sale in the used section. Let's go ahead and get some fertilizer, and of course, let's see. I gotta get this just right here. Because I got two containers here, so the hut's probably getting confused which one to go in. There we go. And now let's switch over to barley, which is right there. We should be good to go. Let's go ahead and close the cover, which is nice to be able to do on your seed drill, which I finally got that figured out a few episodes ago. So, of course, we do got some equipment up at the store, and that's probably going to stay there until we go and cut some grass. We got ourselves a windrower, a tedder, and what else we got there? Oh, yeah, the trailer for collecting some logs, and yeah, we're going to talk about that in just a moment here. Let's get this on in. This field didn't need anything. I think we're all set, right? Yeah, pH value is good. Nitrogen should be somewhat okay once we get this planted. The weeds we'll worry about later on in the season. So yeah, I mean, it's hauling the seed drill okay up the hill. Not too bad. So we'll get this barley in. So a lot of planting to do today. Not a whole bunch of work to do elsewhere. I was down looking at the cows earlier. Their feed is getting kind of low. I'm kind of hoping they can go one more day. They're down to about 2,000 liters. So just one more day, just because I will have a way to feed them next month, because we'll be cutting the grass and I'll be picking up bales. We're going to make some hay, I do believe. And maybe get some more cows after that. Start bringing them on in. We're doing beef cattle. We're not doing any milking on this series. I do milk cows on every other farm that I've ever had, basically. So, yeah, we're going to go beef cattle at this point. And I think we are going to buy ourselves a chainsaw sometime soon. Now, when I buy myself a chainsaw, I'm going to call that as being a penalty. And what we're going to do for a penalty is we've been having, all the way up to this point, being able to lease 5 items at a time. I think by buying the chainsaw, we'll give ourselves a 2 lease penalty. So now we'll only be able to have 3 lease items at a time. But that shouldn't be too hard to manage, just because, as you see on the farm, we own a lot of equipment now. It's not like at the very early stages where I basically was borrowing everything that I possibly could. I mean, I think the first year we really didn't buy too much. I mean, we got lucky in the first winter with the combine and the header. That was a big help. Then of course we finally got the John Deere, so on and so forth. So I think bringing the limit down to 3 and buying ourselves a chainsaw. Chainsaws, as far as everyone said, I don't think anyone said that chainsaws can show up in the used section. So we'll go ahead and buy ourselves a brand new chainsaw, and we'll cut down some trees. The only way we're going to be able to pick them up with the auto-loading trailer is I'll have to get a dolly, and I won't be able to fill up the trailer too much, just because the only thing that'll haul it around is this John Deere, and we saw how much trouble it had going up to Mary's farm, or whatever it's called, with 25,000 liters of grain. So hauling around a lot of trees is not going to be too good. And the sawmill is down pretty much down by the village on the southeastern part of the map. So it's a little bit of ways away from here. And I was looking around trying to see where all the trees were on Goldcrest Valley, because I'm not allowed to plant any trees. It says too many trees. And I would like to plant some trees sometime soon. I wanted to do it last year, but we didn't get around to it. But yeah, we can't plant any trees. We got to get rid of trees, or I can activate the mod where it says add more trees, or whatever the mod's name is, and maybe plant some. But yeah, I was looking around the map to see where all the trees were. It didn't seem like there were that many. The one plot of land that's like right here is up there on the hill. It's kind of a weird shape. It goes all the way over to the pigsty. And it's kind of expensive, and it wasn't really that many trees up there. I think I'll get my money back on it, but after that, then I'll have to plant some to where to actually make a profit. And I don't really want to do any field flipping, and field flipping is pretty much where you buy a field that's ready to harvest, and you harvest it, and then to sell it back, because the land does not gain or decrease in value depending on what you do with it. So, I mean, if you buy a field with a whole bunch of crop in it and harvest it and sell it back, it sells for the same amount as you bought it for, even though you harvested all the crops. So it'd be the same way if I went up there on the hill and harvested all the trees and went back and sold it. I mean, technically the land value probably would decrease. I guess all depends on the buyer and what they want to do with it. But I mean, I would have bought it with all the trees on it, then harvested all the trees, and then sold all the trees, and then gave someone some land with no trees on it, which they probably might like if they were building on it. So all depends on how you look at it, I suppose. Yeah, I do believe April is going to be mostly grass work, and March is going to be mostly drilling work. I was kind of looking around to see if I could do other work in this month, but there really isn't much to do other than drill. So it's not like I can do a little bit of drilling, hire a worker, and then go cut some grass, clover, alfalfa. We are pretty much in the John Deere drilling the month of March. Now I'm trying to think if I should somehow, like somebody mentioned a while ago, taking down these trees behind this shed that we're looking at and kind of like merge the fields together, but then be like a really odd shaped field. I'm trying to remember back when I did this map in 17 if I did something like that, and I may have. It's going back a ways. I have a hard time remembering what I did this morning at this point, let alone 6-7 years ago. Couple more passes and we'll have our barley in. Then we'll just have to go field by field. I'm not really looking for, we need this type of crop, that type of crop in this certain field. Whatever the field does best in, that's what we're going to plant, because we're not bringing anything to production buildings. We basically are only feeding the chickens from our fields. The cows really just need hay. I mean, eventually I could make them TMR if we ever get a mixer for sale, then maybe we'll do some TMR. But that's mostly all grass work anyways. Because you got to use hay, which comes from grass. You got to make silage, which comes from grass. And I got to remember now, base game, straw, which we can get from our barley field, wheat fields, oat fields. And I think that's it on this map. All right, one more pass, I think. And then we'll go to the second field. And I think we're going to build a shed today as well up at the sheep pen so we can put our forklift undercover. And also for future bales that we bring up there, we want those undercover as well. They've almost gone through all the grass bales we've brought up there in basically the first year. I mean, we moved here in August the first year, and I think we had sheep the very first month. And they're still going through the bales up there. They got about maybe 2,500 liters worth of grass of bales up there. Alright, so if we come over to here, it should be 110% on the crop rotation. Soil over here was pretty bad. I saw that the seed rate was kind of high. But if you look at the yield potential, which is 80%, and expected yield is 86%, so we are getting that bonus, which is nice. So nitrogen looks good, pH value is not that bad. Let's come over to here. I know it was canola last year. What was it the year before? Fallow and then canola. Okay. So it's going to be pretty much any crop we want, I would think. Let's see here. Where's fallow? Whoop, there it is. And then canola is going to be like... I went by it somewhere. It must be. Oh, no, there's canola. So barley is even better. Wheat's even better. Canola is terrible. Oats, yeah. So corn, I can't plant corn unless I lease a planter. Sunflowers. Soybeans. I think we'll go with soybeans. Should be able to plant soybeans in this. Soybeans is the one crop you can do either in a planter and a drill. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves some soybeans. Oh, that's right. Soybeans we can't plant in March. Ahoy, hoy. I do that a lot, don't I? It's like, yeah, we're just in the mood for planting. Soybeans not in March. Okay, so we'll leave this field until next month. Now this field over here had barley in it last year. And it sounds like I got a thunderstorm coming through. So if you hear some noises in the background, that's going to be that. That was kind of loud for me, but hopefully the microphone didn't pick it up too much. What do we have here? Fallow and barley. Okay, well, barley, well, soybeans. I'm looking for, canola. Canola we can plant. Canola we can plant. So let's switch this over to canola, if I can find it. There it is. And this we should be able to plant in March. And we're fine. Yeah, so I was kind of very tempted to buy the grass field down by the cows. Not the one for 190,000, but the one for 120,000. That way we save ourselves some money in the bank in case a mower or a baler comes up for sale. I would prefer a square baler, but the auto stacker for the square balers, the way that unloads, I don't prefer it. I like the way the round baler auto stacker unloads compared to the square baler, but I prefer square balers or square bales. It just you can when you're baling, you just get down and go. Or I guess or I can get the Kubota baler like we had on East Vineland. So basically, when it does that, I can put it on a worker. because it has 2 capacities on the baler, so it can unload while it's still baling. And I know there's other balers out there do it as well. But beggars can't be choosers. If you want a baler and one comes up for sale, then we'll definitely have a look at it, see if that's what we need. Yeah, so even like this drill here, and this is what I'm saying, we're at the point once I buy another field, I think we're getting to the point of it's time to start thinking about upgrading. Even though we've only had some of this equipment for about a year or so. I mean, this is a 6 meter, but it's better than having to lease all the time and keeping it overnight and paying extra fees. We'll just keep our eye on the store. Oh yeah, someone did mention, I think it was a couple episodes ago, why not put a front loader on the front of the Massey Ferguson, which we could, but then I would actually have to lease the front loader and of course whatever the implement is I want to use. You know what, I've taken down that sign so many times throughout my FS17 career. I don't want to be taking down that sign too much in 22 if I can help it. Yeah, but getting back to the front loader of the Massey Ferguson, yeah, we can't buy equipment from the store unless it's from the used section. We can lease it, but yeah, since we already got the forklift, that's going to be just fine. But I don't know if they were mentioning it for using the bucket to get the silage out of the silo bunker, which I don't think I'd want to use a bucket on a front loader of the Massey Ferguson, just because what's the capacity of that bucket? Like 2,500, I think is the biggest one, unless you really get modded ones off mod hubs and such. I'd just rather use that belt. That belt loads the back of the trailer in no time flat. And if I was going to do it with a bucket, I would do something like the big Volvo bucket loader that can do 10,000 liters. Because moving around 160,000 liters, and in the future we're going to have more, that would just take forever to load up a trailer. Might be fun for you to watch, because I would like record me loading up a trailer for about 4 minutes or so. Then I would jump cut, and I have to load up the trailer and empty out the rest of that silo bunker for the next 45 minutes or so. But we did pretty well during that sale last episode. Brought in a lot of cash, which is very nice. More than I thought I would bring in. It's been a while since I just sold grain outright. So, not getting, the products that I'm used to getting and selling seems a little weird, but we did rather well for ourselves. Now we're just going to go ahead and start making some hay and keep on the grass fields making some silage. I think the first cut we do at that grass field this year is going to be hay. And as for the alfalfa and clover, we're just going to do hay as well. Probably just sell it, even though I can feed it to the sheep. I didn't test it on the cows if I could feed it to them, but I'm assuming I could. Actually, no, it might be better if we just make the hay with the alfalfa and clover and then just take the grass field and do what we've been doing and cutting it and making silage out of it. Because at least we'll still get, even on a bad month, somewhere around 30 grand for the grass out that field when it's made into silage. About halfway done with this field, and then I think I'll top off the seed drill And maybe I'll bring it down to where the cows are, and maybe we'll have a look to see. Maybe we should plant in that field, and maybe I'll hire a worker for that field. Well, in this short time of finishing off this field of now canola, I think we're going to buy that grass field for $120,000. Because, yeah, it's already got grass in it. Its plant is there. And why not get some more grass and make some more silage out of it? I'm going to be leasing the mowers, and we already got the forage wagon. We got the silo bunkers. So let's get more silage and get more, let's get our money. We'll make some money off that field really quick. We'll have to do, of course, soil sampling, probably lime spreading. I'll probably have to re-drill the field with grass just to get our environmental score up in that field. But, that's all fine. We got the equipment to do so. And I really just hate holding on to money when I should be putting it somewhere and letting that money earn us more money. If we're kind of going for like a plan B goal on this map to buy all the fields, and when I originally took that on, I'm like, oh, because we were doing good. At least I thought, I think we did good with the $2 million that we came here with. But I think I may have overestimated that $2 million at the beginning, because now the money, it's coming in decently, but seeing the price of other fields, it's going to take a while to earn that money and bring in and buy other fields. But the more fields we buy, the more money we earn, so on and so forth. Let me get the HUD back up here to see how we did. Yes, we need some fertilizer and some seed. Actually, we'll just take the road here. And it should still leave us with a decent amount of money anyways. Alright, and then fertilizer. Thank you very much. It's so nice to be so nice just to be able to open up the seed drill and refill it from that hut. Yeah, the whole thing, getting back to that just for a moment, the whole thing about the seed drill opening and closing, same thing with the fertilizer spreader. The weird thing about that was, the last time it happened to me, I was able to open the cover and I filled up, I believe it was a fertilizer spreader. I can't remember if I put lime or fertilizer into it. I opened it up and then I just wasn't able to close it. So the button I had keyed for it was working, and all of a sudden it stopped working. And it did that a couple times, and everyone was saying, oh, we got change your key bindings. And it's like, well, it was working. Why would it work and then stop working? But yeah. Anyways, let's zoom on down here. When I say zoom, at a speedy 29 miles an hour. And we'll check out the crop rotation in this field up here. Yeah, we got these fields here to drill as well. That's what I'm saying. The 6-meter wide direct drill is nice. But it would be nice to upgrade. But if I upgrade the drill, I definitely got to upgrade a tractor horsepower-wise. So, yeah, I might do the same thing like I did with the logging trailer, to where I bought it because it was used, and how often it's not going to come up for sale in the used section. If a direct drill comes up for sale, like a nice big one, if I have the money, I'll buy it. Then we'll just have to keep it around until I can upgrade a tractor or buy a tractor that can haul it around and actually do field work into it. I mean, yes, if we upgraded this John Deere to the 400 horsepower for the 100 and something, whatever it was, I mean, that should handle most of what we need to do. And there's our tedder, our windrower. Logging trailer is over there. We'll cut across down here, staying off the curbs. Sorry, car behind me. I did not use my direction light. Do those, Nope, I forgot. I changed my paddles around. So I used to be for direction lights. That is for shifting gears now. So I don't remember which one is my keys for direction lights. Either way, So this was oats, and then what did I have last year? Oats and wheat. All right, so let's try this out here. Crop rotation. So we had oats, and then we had wheat's going to be this way. Canola's looking so-so. Oats again would be 110%. Oh, what was 150? Oh, sugar beet. Nope, not on the sugar beet. 105. So it looks like oats, other than sugar beet, is the way to go. So this field's going to have some oats in it. Again. So let's switch this over to oats. And yes, I am going to hire Frank Jr., whoever decides to get in this tractor. But I'm going to do 2 headlands here, so... Actually, I don't need to, because I'm going to do a course play. Yeah, so what am I doing? I don't know. I was thinking about hiring just a regular worker. No, we're going to use course play. I like using course play. It seems to work better for me than regular workers, in-game workers. Although in-game workers have gotten so much better throughout the years of Farming Simulator, but I'm so used to using course play at this point. That's what I use. So let me turn it around here. I always face this way, don't know why. Create job, field work, course play. We are down here. It's already got the field selected. Thank you very much for that. And then 6 meter. I'm going to go down to 5.9 just to overlap some. We'll do 3 headlands. I'll get the rest later. Overlap. We don't need to overlap by that much on the headland. That should be fine. I think that's good. Seems like a lot of passes, but it's a 6 meter. And I'll just get it started here. And hire worker. Oh, I think they just repaired my vehicle as well. Frank Jr. Yeah, so course play, every time you start a new map, it resets a lot of the settings. And I think the repair status on either the John Deere or the drill was too low. That's why we saw vehicle repair costs. So it repaired it for us, in a way. Which is fine. I mean, it needs to be repaired anyways. Let's just jog right over here. So this is the grass field I'm talking about. And it's going to say ready for harvest. But of course, it's not at the full height. Yeah, let's go ahead and let me just make sure. Nope, I'm on the wrong category. There we go. Now farmland. And $120,000 for it. He did it. We own it. We're now the proud owners of another grass field. So we can make this field a lot better by, of course, getting a soil sampler. Getting some soil samples into it. We can put some lime down right away. That'll bring up the expected yield a little bit better. Crop rotation says it's perfect. Apparently, no one's ever did any work in this field because it says previous harvest was fallow and fallow. So we'll be the first ones to cut the grass in this field. All right. And then I kind of forgot over here, we got our sunflower field, which I have not done soil samples in yet either. So we got to take care of this. So when we got the soil sample for the grass field, we'll do this over here as well. We may do that in just a second here. But we're going to jump up to the sheep. And what I want to do is we got to have a shed up here for the bales that we're going to be creating here very shortly. You can see the grass bales they got left from year number 1. And I would like to place for our forklift. That's sitting out in the elements here. There was a interesting little shed I found. And it's very, very cheap. It's like $1,000. And I got a couple choices. Is it a couple choices? I thought a couple. Looks like just one. This is all we need. This is only $1,000. So we're going to pop this down just right there, because why wouldn't you? Now we got ourselves a nice little shed. Let's go grab our forklift and put that under cover. I could even remove the wool and put that under cover as well, but I'm going to be lazy about it today. But let's get our forklift under cover. our electric forklift, by the way. So that brings us down to 49,400. But now we got an extra grass field, so... And that grass field, I don't know how much bigger it is compared to the one we have, to get an estimate of what we can expect for yield off that field, but... Actually, I probably should put some, like, dirt or gravel underneath here. But what I can do to get a good idea, or at least an estimate... okay, that's 41 hectares. No, that showed me the value of hectares. Where does it show me this? Oh, there we go. Field size up here. 1.36. So that's more than double that grass field here. So with 160 that we get, we should get another 320. We may get about 330,000 liters of grass off that field this year. Let's go to the Massey Ferguson. Not attached there. Let's go get the soil sampler and do... we'll bring the fertilizer spreader with us as well. So this was kind of not really planned, but now here we are. Open cover, please. Perfect. You are going to get fertilizer in here. I wonder if I got fertilizer. I think I got stuff down at the cow barn. I'm trying to think if I got material down at the cow barn. Well, the Massey Ferguson's doing better than it did before because we got the wide wheels with weights on it. The front is reacting well enough, so that's good. Let's go ahead and lease the soil sampler. Maybe we'll get the we'll just lease a modded one and get like double the working size or scanning size, so it doesn't take too long to get the samples. Hey, he really didn't get the front wheels off the ground when he went over the railroad tracks either. The only thing that'll get me a little bit upset is after spending all this money within, or later on this evening, we'll see like the butterfly mower for sale, and I won't be able to afford it. And I really don't have nothing. I mean, we do got the sheep's wool, but that's not for like another month. But if selling sheep's wool would give me an item, and I'm just rambling on here because it's hypothetical, we don't know if there's going to be a mower for sale or not later on this month. But I can always sell the sheep's wool and probably give me enough cash. Actually feels kind of weird to actually have a worker down in Goldcrest Valley because we have come that far to where we got enough work to do. It's like, yeah, we could hire a worker and we got other things we need to do. We'll see how long it takes. Was it Frank Jr.? I already forgot who was working in that tractor. Okay, steering there was a little bit weird. All right, let's go into the store, and of course, releasing is under miscellaneous. I think so. So, yeah, the standard scanning width is 32. Radius is 32 meters. But we're going to get to 65, which is going to be huge. There we go. And from the amount of times I've been in this farmer's grass field, it's only right, I think, at this point that we go ahead and we bought it. Just ignore me going in the... I will cross the lanes. I was going to just travel in the other lane for a second, but with oncoming traffic, not the wise thing to do. Alright, so we're going to need the big map for this. Actually, that will work. I can actually see the whole area. Let's lower that down here. Quick sample. Should be able to do this in, I would think, 2 passes, right? Oh yeah, for sure. A couple good things about this mod is, of course, it covers a big area. So, you know, it's just less time to do it. And I do believe I think you only pay per sample. So the bigger radius that you're covering, and the less samples you send in, the less it's going to cost you. And on this mod, there are other options you have. And like I said, we went for like the, we'll just call it the standard size. We'll call this the small size. There's a medium size and there's a large size. And it just keeps doubling every time you go higher and higher. So you can imagine getting the biggest soil sample there is. And yeah, I think I was doing that on No Man's Land. Was it No Man's Land? No, I think it was actually East Vineland. And man, the big fields was like 3 samples. And it's like, oh, that's it? Okay. And I don't think that was even the biggest sampler that I leased back then. I can't remember. Alright, now we'll just go across the road and we'll get the sunflower field. Probably should throw in my beacons. Oh boy, those cars come out of that tunnel kind of rapidly, so... There's that one there. And that one there. Now we're going to go back over here just to double check so we can see, we'll see what the difference is by getting soil samples and all that, how we're going to change the expected yield. Oh, that's right. I'm going to have to drop off our fertilizer spreader for just a moment because I won't be able to send the soil samples in otherwise. So right now the expected yield is at 79%. So let's come in here and let's send off the soil samples. And while we're waiting, I'm going to return this right away so I don't accidentally take another sample. Yeah, I don't need it for anything else. Let's return that. So I always got to wait a second for those samples to be read. There we go. So only $1,200 for that. So now what do we got here? So already, the expected yield is 131% out of 125. Just because we got soil samples. And we're going to be doing a lot better. Because we're down a little bit on nitrogen. And pH value could use a little help. Now, grass doesn't take that much fertilizer, but we want the best that we can get off this grass field because money, money, money. Now, this will definitely create more work, but once we expand the farm more and we're getting more money, I can always take this grass field and just put a different crop into it. We can always plant like corn. We can do like corn, chaff, whatever we like to do. Put canola into it, what have you. But for this year, for sure, we'll probably definitely just leave it as grass and get a whole bunch of silage going. But we're going to be busy mowing some grass for a while. You'll have to come over here. I'm trying to figure out if I want to use this spreader to do the lime. Or at least the bridle spreader, just because I'm going to go through the lime rather quickly. I mean, we were down in the orange on the scale for pH values. So, yeah, we're going to go through a lot of lime. And only be able to hold 3,800 liters. I'm going to go through it rather quickly. So let's either get a big spreader. I could upgrade this to 10,000 liters. Trying to figure out if I want to, though. I mean, it's not that I can't afford it, but I do like this, the capacity size that we have for fertilizer. So let's see, we were at, what, 100... Oh, wrong button. Turn off. Accidentally hit the light button. So we were like at, what, 135%? Yeah, so we got up to 137%. I think it was 135. 133, 135, so we raised the percentage up a little bit. Let's make sure I leave myself a little bit of working width over there. I don't want to make it too narrow to where the sensors can't see that it actually needs fertilizer over there. So by getting this much more grass from this field alone, so the other field we're going to get about $30,000 worth of silage, and now we should be up near $90,000 to $100,000 with both fields combined. So that is going to be a nice pick-me-up. And of course, as we know, grass fields you can cut 3 times a year, or however you're doing your rotation. Some like to cut it once it's ready for harvest. I like to wait until the highest height that it is and just cut it 3 times a year. But now I'm just trying to figure out, do I want to put lime in this field to increase the value, which I definitely should. It's just a matter of how I want to do it. Alright, so we don't need that map anymore. How much is it again to lease that Breedle spreader? Does that do... That does lime. That'd be an interesting one to use. What's the capacity on that? 10,000. Well, I can make this 10,000, so... $4,000 to lease it. It's not that bad. Let's go to the store, and I'm just kind of curious to see what it would cost to upgrade this from the 3,800, I think it is, up to 10,000. Somewhere like right here. So where's that trigger? It's here. There it is. If we go customize capacity, if I go, so it's only going to cost me 3,000 to get it up to 10,000, right? 10,000. I think I'm going to leave it where it is, and I'll just go ahead and buy lime here. I'm not going to keep going back all the way to the farm to get lime. So I think I'll just go ahead and I'm going to come on down here and empty out the fertilizer at the cow barn. And I'm trying to remember, I may actually have some lime down here. Yep, doesn't want to turn. Yeah, no one has mentioned yet also about the cattle. So if anyone has done beef cattle and you're just raising them to sell them, what is a good age to sell the beef cattle at? I do got pallets down here, so which one's which? Well, that'd be lime. And I do got fertilizer down here already. Please go into the shed, or both sides, that's fine. At least some of them went into the shed. Well, we know lime is cheap. And really the store is right there, so that's why I kind of decided not to upgrade this. In the future, maybe we'll get the Bredel spreader. Okay, why is the lime heavier than the fertilizer? This could be a problem. Yeehaw. Alright. I may... Alright, well, let me... Well, something... can you lease a weight? Is that a thing? No, that's the wrong button. Weights. I mean, we don't need something too heavy, right? We can lease it for 43 bucks. And I just picked any old weight. I would assume that's going to be heavy enough for us. Frank Jr.'s doing a lovely job. Alright, like always, avoid the curbs. We'll come back and get the spreader and get that lime spread. I'm assuming the John Deere would have been fine with a spreader on the back and not do a wheelie. I myself have seen the weights for sale in the used section before, so I think I remember seeing it and saying, why would that be? Who would want to buy a used weight? But I think I might be pulling up that backwards. Alright, so I figured it would drop the weight facing the same way as the other ones are, and that's the side you want to hook up on. But I'm guessing... There we go. Let's go rip through this lime in a matter of seconds. May not be bad as I think it's going to be, but... Yeah, definitely want to get more beef cattle going. Now the thing is, when it comes time to sell them, of course we don't have an animal trailer yet. It would be better, especially transporting cattle. I think the fee for transporting cattle is the highest of all the animals. All right, I'm hoping that this weight is enough. Barely. But of course, once I start spreading the lime down, we are good to go. Although I don't think the Massey Ferguson likes the weight in the front and all the weight in the back. I will tidy up the corners of what Frank Jr. has missed. Yeah, the Massey Ferguson is a little bit light in the front. Now the good thing about this spreader with the lime also, we are going to get the full working width, which reminds me I did narrow the working width, so let's get that back to full. It's always fun when you got not much weight on the front tires and you're trying to steer. There's a somewhere in here maybe? Alright, we are covering good ground. So I don't think it's going to be as bad as I thought it was going to be, but the question is, can I make the end of the row first? Just to get a good idea of how much we're going to go through. But the old saying, you gotta spend money to make money, and putting this lime down is going to help us out in the long run. And with precision farming, you can put lime down after the crop has germinated. That's why we're able to do it. Base game, you cannot. And I tried that on Solyndra, which is where we came from, to here. I tried putting lime down, and we weren't running precision farming there. And, yeah, didn't work out well for me. Frank Jr. just cutting off in front of you. Shouldn't really be driving in a newly planted field. Let's come down here and get whatever I got left, which is probably like, what, 20 liters? That's the way it usually goes, right? Well, it's more than 20 liters. Alright, wasn't expecting that much in there. Almost a full pallet of lime. So everything else down here is fertilizer. But that does also answer the age-old question, which is heavier, lime or fertilizer. We had a full spreader of fertilizer and we were fine. And with lime, not so much. Yeah, Frank Jr. is almost done planting. So I just got to figure out what the sunflower field needs. And the other two canola fields. And then, of course, we got the field up by the sheep. We will be planting soybeans at that third field down at the farm in April. And I'm probably wasting some lime here, but we'll get it all figured out with the fields. And now it's time to go spend some money at the farm, at the shop, buying some lime. But luckily it's right there. 2 more passes, I'm hoping. Yeah, so it's only going to be like 4 more pallets. Because they're 2,000 liters apiece, and this is almost a 4,000 liter capacity. But I'm going to go and just buy 3 pallets. Because I can, wait, bags are cheaper, right? Liquid fertilizer. No, I can't buy pallets of lime, I don't think. I'm just going to buy 3 of them. Well, that lightning strike was awfully close. And I'm sure the microphone picked that one up. Just as long as I don't lose power as I'm recording, because that would really suck. That happened to me once before, and if I lose power as I'm recording, yeah, the whole file is trash. The sun was out when I started recording, and then the skies got awfully gray really quick. Alright, time to finish off this field. By the time I finish, I assume Frank Jr. will be done. Yep, that weight just isn't quite heavy enough for what we're doing. But once I get going and just stay in a straight line, I'm all set. Yeah, any extra lime I got left over, I'm going to go visit the sunflower field behind us. Because I'm sure that's going to need some lime. I did buy an extra bag of lime, so I went back to fill up. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to get it done with that one more bag. So I bought the extra one. So we're going to be pretty close to, I think, 500,000 liters of grass going into that silo bunker. So that should be kind of interesting, getting that all in there and compacted. Of course, the fun time will come when it's time to sell, when we see that money go on up. Oops. Oh, fender bender. Can I get this in one pass? Not quite. This field needed it as well. I don't think there's an actual way on this field here, so we'll just go over there. That slight little curb. And always with the traffic, it's always time. I mean, there's not that many cars, but it always seems like every time I just want to shoot straight across, it's perfect timing for a car to be right there. And I'm hoping I got more than 1,000 liters of lime left here. No, I don't. Of course not. So we'll buy one more bag. Let's see, what's Frank Jr. up to? Looks like he is done. So not a bad start to the morning. We got 2 fields done at the main farm. And we got a pretty big field done over here as well, being planted. And we got the new grass field lime fertilized, and we're getting the old sunflower field taken care of. And before you know it, we're going to have crop in the ground everywhere. And I think we're going to try to put our logging trailer to use during the summer months because we can't do contracts, so we're not going to be busy doing any other farmer's work. So to keep ourselves busy, we'll buy ourselves a chainsaw, then we'd be restricted to leasing 3 things at a time. But we'll find some trees, we'll start cutting them down. But of course, they got to be on our property, so that's going to be the biggest thing. We only got a few trees around the farm itself. There we go. And I think with a little bit of lime I got left, I'm just going to go ahead and spread that on the field that just got planted. That way I don't have pallets hanging around. Oh yeah, I should have went. Alright, so 1 curb crossing right here. I've actually probably done a few. Just spread this anywhere. It's not taking that much, as you can see. There we go. Yeah, I just did a 360 turn to bring it. I was trying to figure out where am I going with this. Not too sure yet. I think we'll just park this down here. And I'm going to hop into the John Deere and tidy up that little bit of a mess, if you will. And actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and fill this back up with fertilizer. Because I'll need it again after we cut the grass. The fields will need to be fertilized once again, so the spreader might as well just stay right on down here. And probably just keep the weight that's on the Massey Ferguson for now. And grab the little that's over here. I say little, that's quite a bit amount of fertilizer. There we go, turn the beacons off. Cover that up, alright. And last but not least, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and finish off what I have to do here. And we'll get back to planting for the second half of March. Just only on the corners I gotta take care of. And it helps out if you actually turn on the implement. Must have been too quick with the button. There we go. But anyways, that is going to do it for today, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the episode. I do appreciate you watching as always. I'll catch you again right here in Goldcrest Valley. But until then, have a good one.